He gave so much of his self to public service from the time he was a youngster to his college days at the University of Washington, where he started the Central Area Youth Association. And unbeknownst to anybody, he was funding kids so they would have equipment so they could play pee-wee football.
School was easy for me. I didn't do real well, but it was easy for me to get through college. But when I went to Harvard, that was a different animal. And I had to work, and it taught me discipline and taught me to reason and think logically. Everybody should start in local politics because it has a caste of its own. But you spend all your time in people's living rooms and Grange halls and church basements. I've always been one to respond to a challenge, whether it's running a marathon or climbing Mount Rainier or whatever. I finish what I start. So I just took a deep breath, walked around the block several times, said I'm in this for the duration of the election, and dug in and worked hard.
Let's figure out how we can strike some common ground here and get to a solution that works for everybody. That was Booth's approach to problem solving. He would never say, I made a difference, because that's not his way of doing things. But we all know, and we watched and we saw, this man made a difference in so many people's lives. Some people call him governor, some people call him friend. Everybody that ever met him adores him. He was a very special human being who cared deeply about all of us. And it didn't matter what strata in life you came from, he looked at all of us through the same prism of compassion and understanding. And
A person that had a goal, reached his goal, had fun doing it, and I think did okay. I'd like to be remembered as a governor that did well with the responsibility that was given to him.
I'm going to miss Booth. He was a good governor. He cared about people.
There was nobody who fought more for education reform than Booth Gardner. And when he said he was going to be a governor who focused on education, he meant it.
Young children, early childhood education, these are initiatives that we took that I'm glad we did it.
Booth was a leader of tremendous compassion, dignity, and bravery whose service to our state will live on far into the future. He was generous in sharing his wisdom and his time, and I will never forget the lessons he taught me when I was just beginning my political career in Olympia many years ago.
I worked with Booth Gardner on a lot of things, and I think probably from my point of view, the most important contribution he made was starting the Washington Basic Health Plan. There are a lot of things that he did, things to do with Puget Sound and all other things, but the thing closest to my heart was the Washington Basic Health Plan, which would never have occurred if he had not been governor. So the people of Washington were ahead of the rest of the country in trying to deal with the health care of all our citizens because of Booth.
He was a true enthusiast. I always hung up the phone, glad I'd taken the phone call and glad I'd had a chance to talk with him. The issue might be tough, it might be difficult, but it was always pleasant to talk with him and to work with him. He was just a great enthusiast in whatever job and whatever responsibility he took on.
In his capacity as the very first county executive, he set the stage, he set the table for a good government, and I, as the 5th county executive in Pierce, am the recipient of that. My husband John and I have known Booth for close to 30 years, and it's been a privilege and a pleasure knowing him.
What was incredible about Booth is that he had this vision for our state, and I'll never forget when he said that environmentalists make great ancestors. Not only was he talking about getting ready for how to plan for growth in our state, but also how to preserve those very, very special places. And he did an incredible job for us.
I think what made Booth such a very good governor is it started with the fact that he really liked people, and he liked all people. He liked people, frankly, from the very wealthiest in our state to those of the lowest income. He really had that caring, and that's the type of person that Booth Gardner was.
In addition to his regular duties, on an ongoing basis, he spent a lot of time worrying about the youth of the area. And he, in particular, wanted to find ways for them to get employment and to broaden themselves.
And Booth Gardner was not only a successful governor, but he was a person that left the office and people still liked him and cared about him. And we're going to miss Booth.
Booth brought people together to get things done. Democrats and Republicans, business and labor, liberals and conservatives, east and west. We need more people of his caliber serving in public office today all around our country. So much of what we take for granted in our state is thanks to Booth. Booth leaves an incredible legacy. Thanks, Booth. We'll always remember you.